All right, hosers. The question is, how is Poilievre blaming Carney and the Liberals for skyrocketing food prices, saying Canadians can't afford groceries anymore? Now, he points to deficits, carbon taxes, and hidden costs, while Carney's plan gets called out as failing targets. So, is this real blame, or is just Ottawa politics like usual? Let's hoser it up a little, shall we? Now, Poilievre went on CTV and says that food prices are up 4.7% year over year, and that we can see at our own grocery stores, right? And Canadians are lining up at food banks like never before. Even people with jobs working 50 to 60 hours a week. He blames the Liberals are running a $78 billion deficit, printing money and imposing hidden taxes like the industrial carbon tax on farm equipment and fertilizer, the food packaging tax, and the clean fuel standard that's set to rise. He says these policies drive up costs across the board, and even core inflation is at 2.8 to 3%, which is above the 2% target. Now, Poilievre insists Canada should have cheap food with all its farmland, but government taxes and spending are making everything ridiculously expensive. And if you've been to the grocery store, you know exactly what that means. He promises to axe the carbon taxes and cut wasteful spending to bring down the deficit and make life affordable again. Now, the interviewer, which was Yassi, pushes back on other factors like weather and supply issues. Yeah, weather and supply issues. Come on. But Poilievre says the trend started with Liberal policies and will get worse without any sort of change. All right? Now, if we look at the whiteboard here, I wrote down food inflation blame. You guys were seeing that up there. Food inflation blame. Now, Poilievre blames Carney and the Liberals overall for food inflation. Also, deficits, carbon taxes, and hidden costs. We all know that the food prices are up 4.7%, and I like to think that's probably more than that. And we do know that food banks have lineup records. I have a number of friends that go to food banks. You know, it's sad. And Canada should have cheap food, right? Government is making it way too expensive. Now, is that real, or is this just spin, right? The food inflation blame. So, a conclusion. Poilievre says Carney's Liberals are to blame for food inflation. After all, they have been in power for the last 10 years or so, right? Deficits, taxes, and spending all contribute to that. Canadians can't afford groceries anymore. And if you're like me and the vast majority of Canadians out there, there's a lot of truth to that statement, right? Now, Poilievre is promising to axe all the carbon taxes and cut wasteful spending. In the end, the blame game is on. And the prices, without question, are definitely high, and somewhere out there, there is blame to be had. So is this another day at the Ottawa circus? Or is this another day where we all get a little hosed? And that's the briefing.